What is up, people? This is me, Spec Poo Football 24 here. Last time I made a vid about the Eagles, it was about the Eagles hiring Doug Peterson and Howie Roseman. That was as the video says, it was a month ago. But now I want to get to what has been going on right now with the off season. I'm gonna start with the first thing that comes to mind that happened today. It was Byron, Maxwell, and Kiko Alonzo getting traded over to the Miami Dolphins for undisclosed draft picks. We won't find out about the draft picks until Wednesday. So, for me, what do I think about Byron, Maxwell, Kiko Alonzo being traded? For me, it's kind of a good thing. Because for me, I was willing to give Byron Maxwell another shot, and I've always said this regarding Byron Maxwell. I said that I'm willing to give the guy another shot. Reason being is that I want him to prove that contract that he has. That's all I wanted from him, was him to prove that contract. But now that he's traded, I have no problem with it anymore. And we're getting draft picks out of it. Now for Kiko Alonzo, another guy who people may find as questionable, and I find it questionable as well. I find it questionable for them to trade off Kiko Alonzo. They could have just kept him and see what he can do with Jim Schwartz's system. But apparently, I guess things happen. The Eagles decided to say, you know what, we're gonna package in Kiko Alonzo right along with Byron Maxwell for, I guess, these draft picks, and I hope that the draft picks that we're getting, they're at least of some value. Now, I'm not expecting any bullshit between first, second, and third. I'm expecting somewhere, excuse me, I'm expecting somewhere around the range of at least fourth to fifth, because we all know Byron Maxwell is not even worth a second rounder, not even close. He's hardly even worth a third. So for me, the best that I could see is a fourth and fifth round pick. So yeah, for me with the trade, I have no problem with it. Really, I have no problem with it. The only questionable one is Kiko Alonzo, but other than that, we could find someone that will probably be better and more healthier than Kiko Alonzo. So the next one, and this for me was the most, I wouldn't say I was the most shocked, but because the report's been going on for a while now, with Ian Rappaport saying that DeMarco Murray being unhappy constantly over and over again. It turns out he was right this time, because DeMarco Murray gets traded over to the Tennessee Titans. So what do I think about DeMarco Murray being traded to the Tennessee Titans? Well, for one, unless if the Titans are going to be running a I formation type scheme, whatever it is, unless they're going to be running that, if they don't run that, DeMarco Murray is going to have almost the exact same season that he had when he was here. You see, I don't understand DeMarco Murray. I really don't. I don't understand how you could be that unhappy to the point where a new coach comes in. He wants to fit everything to you. I mean, everything that he's bringing over from Andy Reid's system, he wants to implement that and make you a better player. I don't get that, really. I don't get it. Now, the only way I can see the Titans even fitting with DeMarco Murray is that they're going to be doing more and more I formation, which they should be. I'm sorry, I'm a bit tired today, but yeah, they're going to be doing more of that. But the only way I could see it really being useful to having to fit the Marcus Mariota and having to fit the DeMarco Murray is that they'll have to do pistol formation. They'll have to do, they pretty much will have to do pistol formation, and they're gonna have to do some plays from the shotgun anyway. So for me, that's gonna be quite interesting to see how that works out. Now, of course, with that DeMarco Murray trade, we're also gonna get picks out of that. But I'm wondering, what are we gonna get? What I do know is that we're gonna get number one select. I guess number one overall selection. Not saying the first round. I'm talking about the second, third, fourth round. We'll be the first to pick out of that round. So whatever we got from the Titans, I know good and well that we're going to be at least, having a chance to pick a solid player out of that first overall, if you get what I mean. First overall each round. I can't put it into math words right now. So basically we traded two Eagles players which had serious contracts that was eating up our cap, that was hurting our cap, to two different teams. I have to say, this was a good job by Howie Roseman, because even I wasn't expecting this. Nobody was expecting this. Nobody was expecting Howie Roseman to come in and take these two heavy ass contracts that the Eagles have and just ship them off just like that. So for us, we get 10 million in cap, right back to right back for us. We get 10 million in cap, so we have around at least 27 million. I think I think they said we had 16, 17 million. So we have around 26 or 27 million dollars in cap space, which is very good to mess around with. You know, on top of that, we get to on top of that, we get to I'm trying to think of it. Yeah, on top of that, we get to sign some some solid free agents. The ones that we're looking at is that one safety from the Cardinals. Actually, the Eagles fans, they're trying to recruit him over. So for me, like, I don't know too much about the guy, to be honest with you, but apparently if Eagles fans want him here, then fucking I'm all for it. That I see his name, Patrick Robertson. No, not Patrick Robertson. That's actually the guy from the Chargers. That's one of the guys the Eagles are interested in. He's a cornerback from the San Diego Chargers that they're interested in. They're also interested in Tyre Whitehead from the Lions. Outside linebacker, I guess, because we need someone to fill in for Kiko Alonzo. I'm trying to look up that guy. Oh, there's his name, Tony Jefferson from the Arizona Cardinals, who wears number 22. Apparently, Eagles fans are trying to recruit him. Don't know why, but they want him. So with that, with that, I have no problem with it. I actually rather like it that we're trying to get draft picks out of this, because if it ends up the way how I think it'll end up in free agency, if the Eagles address the offensive line, at least get one offensive guard in free agency. This is the way how I see it. Offensive guard, get one offensive guard. They're already trying to go after a cornerback to replace Byron Maxwell. They're already trying to go after a linebacker to replace Kiko Alonzo. If they filled up at least a couple of those positions, then the way how I see the Eagles going with the first round of draft, I can see them going best player available. And the best player available at that 13th spot, in my personal opinion, would be the three wide receivers in Treadwell, Coleman, and Doxson. I don't know about Elliott. Yeah, I don't know about Ezekiel Elliott being there at 13. But what I know is that if we were gonna go best player available, those would be the only three. Hell, I don't even know about Ronnie Stanley from Notre Dame. I don't even know if he'll drop the 13 and still be there. But if he is there at 13, I'm gonna be honest. I would grab Stanley before I would even grab the three wide receivers, because Stanley is the number two best offensive tackle in this draft. First one, as you know, is pretty obvious, is Tunsil, but Stanley isn't no pushover either. If anything, he can hold his own weight, and he's projected to go out of the first round as well. If not probably top 10, maybe top 20. So for me, if Ronnie Stanley is there, it would not only fill up a need, but it will fill up a really good slot for a guy like him. Maybe he can move over to an offensive guard for the left guard or right guard, depending on what we'll do in free agency. But for me, I feel like if we get Stanley, we'll be solid at the offensive line position. But if Stanley is picked up, I can see one of the three wide receivers we will get between Doxson, Treadwell, and Coleman. You see, if people are wondering why would you pick up a wide receiver? Don't you basically have the position filled up? Well, for me, it's like this. For me, the wide receivers in free agency, they're not the ones that we should be going after. If anything, they're not that good. Now, some of them would say go after Marvin Jones from Cincinnati, and I agree with that. But if he's really the only guy up there at wide receiver that we should be going after that's at least serviceable, then I would have no reason to really touch him at all. The only serviceable guy, and he's a young guy, and he'll last for a couple years long. Now, I see these other wide receivers and Marcus Colston, who's I'm not gonna say he's done. I mean, I wouldn't mind bringing in Marcus Colston. I wouldn't mind it. He's another guy And then there'll be Andre Johnson, who's just a flat out done. He's done and over with. We all know this. So really, there's two wide receivers that's really serviceable that will help mentor our young wide receivers in Jordan Matthews and Nelson Aguilar and Josh Huff. But it would, for me, it would kind of come at a price. Like, how much money do they want? How much do they really want to come here? Because you know there's going to be other teams having to bid for a veteran wide receiver presence. And for me, I don't trust the whole veteran wide receiver presence thanks to Miles Austin being here and leaving a very bad example. So for me, if anything, I would want I would want out of the three. For me, I don't care out of the three. If we get Treadwell, who's the guy I really want the most because I want a jump ball receiver. But for me, I would not bitch and complain if we ended up getting Laquan Treadwell, Corey Coleman, or Josh Doctson. Out of any of the three wide receivers for best player available, I'm not complaining. Now, some people will say get defense. For me, I feel like wide receiver is more of a need than it is for defensive tackle or for defense in general. Now, there's that, and I'm hearing about I'm hearing about Mackenzie Alexander from Clemson. I haven't even heard of the guy up until this point. In fact, I don't think I even saw him at the combine. I want to know how did he do in the combine, because what I know is that the two cornerbacks that's good in this draft is Jalen Ramsey and Vernon Hargreaves, and we already know Vernon Hargreaves. I doubt that he'll be there at 13 for some reason. I really do. But if Vernon Hargreaves is there, or if Jalen Ramsey is there, grab him at the corner position because we're gonna need him. So for me, the biggest needs would be this right about now: the offensive line, the wide, the not the wide receiver, the offensive line, the secondary, because we just got rid of Maxwell, and the wide receiver position. That's how I see it. If the two good guys from that position are off the board, and if you don't feel like they're the guys, then fuck it. I go for one of the three wide receivers. You can't go wrong with any of those three. That's how it is with me. I mean, like, fuck it. Three wide receivers, three good wide receivers coming out of this class. You can't lose. Just know how to use them correctly. So for me, man, that's all I pretty much gotta say. With the whole trade situation, which everything's going on with because of the trade situation, at least potential for what might happen in the draft. For me, I hope the Eagles go after Lamar Miller because he's definitely much more freaking faster than DeMarco Murray, and he'll probably come at a cheaper price. I don't trust going after Matt Forte. In fact, I wouldn't go after him anyway. I wouldn't go after how's the other running back name that got cut off? There's some other running back that got cut off. I don't know. Besides Matt Forte, he's a big star running back. I forgot what his name is, but all I know is that I would get Lamar Miller, bring him in. The Eagles are. I hope they try to pursue Allen. From the Chiefs. I forgot his first name. I think his name Jeff Allen or something like that. I hope they pursue him from the Chiefs. And that pretty much be it for me. If they pursue those two guys, and if they get a solid safety from Peterson. I mean, not Peterson. God damn it, from. You know what I'm talking about. That safety from the Cardinals. If they address those positions in free agency, then I could see us going best player available. And that's all I pretty much have to say about it. So, yeah, I'll catch you guys hopefully in free agency when the Eagles make some splashes, which they will with that money they have, and probably the draft. So I'll catch you guys later. Peace.